Welcome to Go Mustang Sports. We're talking the winter season of sports now. I'm Dave McHugh, joined by the women's ice hockey coach, Tracy Johnson. And we say, Coach, it's been 2 weeks and a few days that you've been on the job. So first and foremost, welcome to Stevenson.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Glad to be here.
I am sure it has been just a bit of a whirlwind. You arrived, if memory serves, the day before practices started. So hello to the team, and let's get to work.
Yeah, basically, I got here on a Sunday. First day of work was Monday. Met all of them Monday night, and right away Tuesday morning we had practice at 8 a.m. So it happened quick.
Certainly some advantages. You're not worrying about this year's schedule. That's been taken care of, obviously. You're going to look ahead, certainly. Team's in place, so you just have to take on the team that you have. But that does bring some challenges, I'm sure. How are you acclimating with the team? How's the team acclimating with you?
I think it's going pretty well so far as I can tell, unless they're going back to their rooms and bad talking me there. I think it's going pretty well. Obviously, it's a challenge having to get to know them right away, and it's all of a sudden, here's your new coach at practice, and I don't really know them as well, but have been meeting with them off the ice and trying to do little things like that to get to know them, and I think it's been going really well. We've got a great group of players.
You start the season Saturday at home, doubleheader on weekend, as you mostly do in women's ice hockey, or in any hockey. Obviously, it's nice to start at home. You don't have to go on the road, deal with the road stuff for another week. But at the same time, the spotlight is really on you guys. How are you guys prepared? How do you think the first weekend's going to do?
I think that they have a ton of energy. They're ready to play. We've been practicing for a couple of weeks, so it's finally game time. They're ready to get out there and really show what we've got. We've been doing a lot of competition in practice. We've done a lot of teaching on systems, and obviously the first game weekend is a nice test of what they've learned, what they've retained. But they've done a great job with it, so I think this weekend's going to go very well.
How big of a challenge as a coach is it? This is just the program's second year, but they had 1 year with a previous coach. They put a system in place. Now you're coming in kind of with your system, and of course you have assistant coaches, et cetera, also who were with the program. How is it to adjust to what you would like to do, or is it kind of you also adjusting to what's been working or not working with them?
Yep. I didn't plan on coming in and guns a-blazing and changing things up a ton. Coach Viss, and we still have Coach Joey Lai as my assistant, who was here last year, did a great job of working with them and getting them to sort of buy into the systems they were working with, which I happen to agree with. So it worked out great. It's been a great, smooth transition so far, and having the staff, having Coach Lai, who was here last year, obviously is a tremendous help, and she's awesome. And we also have a GA, Ashley Harper, who has been great and has been out recruiting, and they both work so hard. And I really don't think the transition could have been smooth without the two of them. So it's been great.
One of the challenges this team has is you do have to play a lot of road games. Yeah. First off, because no one, you're new, so everyone else kind of has a little bit of leverage on you. So you're going to have to go away for a lot of your games. Also because no one wants to travel down to you necessarily. You got to get a little more established. But this season, you're going out to Minnesota. You obviously have games up in New England and New York, as the team did last year. How do you prepare this team for the second go-around of a grueling schedule, to be honest?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely a challenge, spending hours on the bus, having to go halfway the night before, and it's a grueling challenge, but I think ultimately it sort of makes them a better mental athlete because they have to learn to work through that. And last year, obviously, they got a taste of that. They know what it's like to have to sit on a bus for 8 hours and then turn around and get warmed up, and there you are on the ice. And I think going back to what the coaches were able to do last year with them, I think that they're pretty well prepared for that. And they know what to expect, and it's their second go-around of that, and they'll do a great job of getting themselves mentally prepared because that's going to be a huge thing for them. Like, oh, we're on a plane and now we're on a bus and now we're playing the next day. Yeah. And that's a big mental side of it that the athletes have to push through. And I think they're ready for it.
Quickly about the team, what have you seen that you like? What are some of the things that the fans can key on to see how this team does or may excite the fans and even family?
Yep. So we've been working a ton on the skill of passing and putting the puck in the net. We've really been emphasizing that, and even just in the past few days, they've been doing a great job of getting that puck in the net. And we do small games during practice, and you can tell that they're really competing hard and want to score. So be looking for some exciting goals. Hopefully, a lot of great passing, using our speed, and just all around fundamental strong play.
Quickly, if anybody's just getting introduced to women's ice hockey, they may come in with a mentality of what they see in the NHL or in college men's hockey. There are some slight differences. While overall it's same, there are some differences. Case in point, women are not allowed to technically hit, especially, checks on the board. Are there any other things that people should be aware of when watching the women's game?
Yeah. So that's a great point, because a lot of people go to an NHL game expecting the big fight, expecting the gloves to drop and blood to be drawn and guys ending up on the ice pounding on each other. And so obviously we don't have that in the women's game, which I personally like. I'm glad that there's not that violent aspect to it, because it's focused a lot more on finesse and passing and flow play, and we're not having someone all of a sudden line someone up in the middle of the ice and there's a huge hit. And while that might excite some crowds, I think that there are some exciting aspects to the women's game that you don't quite get in the men's game, because the mentality is let's hit him versus let's get it to open ice and make an awesome cross ice pass or a drop pass, and you see a lot more finesse that I think people are going to be pretty impressed with in the women's game.
We've gone into this, haven't really talked much about you and how you came along into this job. So let's back up a little bit. Where did you play college, and what was the experience?
Absolutely. So I played at Boston College, graduated in 2010. It was an unbelievable experience. I got to play under Katie King, three-time Olympian, Courtney Kennedy, two-time Olympian. The amount of knowledge that they have and passion for the game is just amazing. So to have 3 years with them and learn from them was incredible. And the teammates that I made, or the friends that I made, the teammates that I had, and just the area of Boston was unbelievable. So it was a great experience all around. And my freshman year, we made it to the Frozen Four, first time in program history, and now that they're consistently getting there every year.
Open the door.
They're a powerhouse. So I was there before they became the huge powerhouse, but we got it started. So it's kind of cool to have that legacy. I'm proud to be a former Eagle.
How did you get into coaching, and kind of where did that coaching lead you?
Yep, definitely. So I have a younger sister, and so all through high school I was helping out with her youth team and all of that, nothing tremendously serious. Mm-hmm. And it always something that I'd sort of thought about, just because hockey was such a huge part of my life, and I didn't quite know what was going to happen, for women in hockey. There's not, unless you're Kelly Stack or Molly Schaus, both former Eagles that are on the Olympic team, there's not a ton of opportunities past that. Now with the CWHL starting up, there's that also. But at the time, I wasn't sure, what am I going to do with hockey? And actually, Katie King called me up, asked if I wanted to be an intern coach with USA Hockey for their development camps. And I said, yeah, I absolutely would. And so I ended up there, and I worked with a man named Jim Plumer, who's now at the University of Vermont. And I was his intern. And that just sort of ignited the spark for sure. And I was like, wow, I could definitely do this. I love it. He got me involved in every aspect of it, helping to practice plan, and got to present drills on the board, which you wouldn't think is a big deal. But when you've never done it before and all of a sudden you're in front of a group of 30 kids, it's like, oh my gosh. Yeah, hey, what's going on? So let's see. So then after that, I coached a year in high school with another former Eagle, Maggie Taverna, and that was an awesome year. And let's see, then the year after that, going back to Jim Plumer, he had an opening as an assistant for him at Amherst College, and so I ended up there and just learned a ton from him. I was a total sponge. He never played organized hockey, but loved the game so much, and his knowledge and passion for it and his work ethic, I could go on and on about him. But what I learned about him, even competition and practice, sort of his philosophy about fun and success, and just had an awesome year there learning from him. Thankfully, I had a year under him. And so then this past year, I was coaching in a youth organization, so U10, U12, U14, and a U19 traveling team that was out of Connecticut. So I basically coached every age level, I would say, almost. So
it's a good way to get it under your belt. And now you're a head coach at Stevenson University.
Absolutely.
So congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
To ask you the trick question, though, you've only been here 2 weeks in some days.
Mm-hmm.
What are your goals for the season? What do you think this team can accomplish?
Yep. So last year they won 6 games.
Yep.
I think any improvement on the win side of it is an improvement and is progress. I don't think it's a stretch to hope that we win 10 or more. You know, they had a lot of close games
Yeah,
last
they
year.
did.
A lot of close games. You know, they lost, it might have been in the Codfish Bowl, you know, 2-1 to UMass Boston. Well, I'd like to beat them. One of my best friends, another former Eagles, the
Yeah.
head coach there. So
I thought you might have circled that date.
we're very competitive with each other. So, you know, when I got the job, I texted her right away and I said, January 1st, you're going down. January 2nd.
Second, yeah.
So there's that. You know, Conn College had a couple of close games there. And, you know, we'd like to, if there are a series where they were swept last year, I'd like to split that. Or
Sure.
if there's a series that they split last year, I'd like to sweep that. You know, I think small steps is the way to go. And we had, I believe, 37 goals for last year. And, you know, I want to get the puck in the net more than that.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Of course, a split with Oswego wasn't too bad last year either.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you've got some,
Yeah,
there's some
exactly.
significant wins last year.
Oh, yeah.
To build on, certainly.
Absolutely. Great. Yeah, absolutely.
A great place. Well, of course, season starts against SUNY Canton. We won't grill her about that. You're going to have to tune in for the pregame show for that. But congratulations on the job. Good luck this season. We'll certainly keep track of the women's ice hockey team as we go along throughout the rest of the year. For Coach, I'm Dave McHugh, and this has been Go Mustang Sports. Awesome.
Great.
All right, one more.
I'm all sweaty,
No,
sorry.
don't worry about it. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording so I don't get confused.